The first thing we'll do is we'll go to the Google Developer Console at console.developers.google.com. Here, we'll click Create New Project and give the project a name. Once the project's been created, we'll click on the new project and then click on OAuth consent screen. Here, we'll set the user type to be external, give the application a name, and then click Save. Next, we'll click on Credentials, Create Credentials, and then create a new OAuth client ID. For the application type, we'll choose Web Application, give the application a name or accept the default, and then click Create. Here, we'll be given the client ID and the client secret. We'll need these for the next step. Next, we'll go to the command line and create a new application. I'm going to be using React, but you could also use Angular, Vue, or your framework of choice. Next, we'll change into the new directory and install AWS Amplify using npm or yarn. Now we'll initialize the Amplify project by running amplify init. Here, we'll give the project a name, the environment a name, choose our default text editor, and then accept defaults for the rest of the questions. When prompted if we'd like to use an AWS profile, we'll choose Yes and then choose one of the profiles that was configured with the Amplify CLI. Now that the Amplify project has been created, we can add authentication by running amplify add auth. Here, we'll choose default configuration with social provider, username as the sign-in type, and then no if we'd like to configure any advanced settings. For the domain prefix, you can accept the default or choose a custom domain prefix. For the redirect sign-in and sign-out URIs, we'll be using localhost 3000. For the social providers that we'd like to configure, we'll choose Google. Next, we'll be prompted for the Google Client ID and secret. We'll get these from the Google dashboard. Now the service has been configured and we can deploy it by running amplify push. Now that the service has been deployed, we can open the application in our text editor. In the AWS-exports.js file, you can find the OAuth domain under the OAuth key. We'll copy this to the clipboard and then go back to the Google console. Now we can update our OAuth client with these credentials. For the JavaScript origin, we'll choose https:// and then our domain. For the redirect URI, we'll choose https:// our domain /OAuth2/IDP response. Now that everything has been configured in the Google Developer Console, we can jump back to our text editor. Here, we'll open index.js and configure the project to work with Amplify. To do so, we'll import Amplify from AWS Amplify, the configuration from AWS Exports, and then we'll call amplify.configure passing in the config. Next, we'll open app.js and import Auth from AWS Amplify. In this component, we'll create a couple of buttons. The first button that we'll create is a button to sign in with Google. In the onClick handler of the button, we'll call auth.federatedSignin, passing in Google as the provider. Next, we'll create one more button that just calls auth.federatedSignin without any arguments. To test this out, we can run npm start. When we click Sign In with Google, we'll be allowed to sign in using the Google OAuth domain. If we click Sign In, we'll be redirected to the hosted UI that gives the user the option between username and password or sign in with Google. Now that we've signed in, let's take a look at how to log information about the currently signed in user. To do so, we'll open app.js and create a new function called checkUser. This function will call auth.currentAuthenticated_user and then log out the value of the user. When we click Check User, we can see information about the currently logged in user, like their username and email address. To view our project in the Amplify Console, we can type in Amplify Console, and this should open up our project in the AWS Console dashboard. To view the users in our application, we can click on Authentication and then View Incognito.